I don't understand why top-tier athletes want to go to the Olympics right now. I just don't get that. Mm-hmm. And I'm struggling with it, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I don't know that it's something where you have one single answer for this.
Right.
In normal times, I totally get it. You want to go to the Olympics. It's in Tokyo. It's amazing, culturally speaking. Awesome sushi.
Right.
Condoms for days. It's the Olympics. Totally get that. But here's the problem. When you look at what's going on in Japan right now, they're in a state of emergency because of COVID.
The coronavirus.
You have a situation where other Olympians from different countries arrived in Japan to train and get ready for the Olympics this week, and they immediately contracted coronavirus.
Everybody gets a test.
And they're not passing those tests. And they're getting coronavirus so quickly because of the Delta variant. And so I say to myself, you have all these NBA players, and you have this movement where people think that it is a crime to get vaccinated. And so in the NBA, they don't tell you who's vaccinated and who's not. Are you telling me 100% of this Olympic team is vaccinated? If you're an NBA player and you're making hundreds of millions of dollars, because there's not a poor man on this USA Olympic basketball team.
Right.
Why are you going to the Olympics? I can't do it.
Yeah, I think the Olympics for NBA guys at that level is one of those things where, you only get a couple opportunities to do it. And, for guys, you take Kevin Durant as an example. He's likely not going to get another shot at the Olympics. I mean, I guess he could if he stayed in the league till he was, 36 or whatever it was.
Wait. Speaking of your guy Cadizzle.
Right.
The Slim Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that he's not going to be the sex machine in the Olympic Village this time around. Because there's always one. There's always one Olympian who winds up making the rounds.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Right? I mean, that's famous, and I'm not even being sensational. I don't know how many people realize this. They hand out almost a ton, like weight, a ton of condoms.
Right.
In the Olympic Village, so that these elite level athletes that are in peak physical condition can procreate and share their DNA while winning Olympic gold.
He's an assassin.
And there's always one or two that are known to travel to the farthest degrees of the Olympic Village to plant seeds in other people's gardens.
I want more.
Tell me that's not Kevin Durant, who already is known to be, how shall we say, easy. Like Kevin Durant has had no problem, in the baby making process.
That's every day.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So tell me Kevin Durant's not going to be the one who's like, look at my six-pack. Bam. Hey, look, track. Oh, the track dorm. The gymnastics dorm. The skeet shooting dorm. Oh, the Winter Olympics were here. Where them bobsledders at? Right? Tell me that Kevin Durant is not going to go.
Yeah, man. I listen. He may. He
notoriously single.
Certified bucket getter. Guy wants to
Maybe the coronavirus isn't the only virus some people should be worried about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Gets around.
Jordan Crabtree says Olympians are safer in Japan than in the U.S. Japan is at least taking Delta variant seriously and putting bans of fans, etc. I don't think anybody's safe in Japan. I mean, if you are not vaccinated, first of all, I don't know why you're not getting vaccinated. And more data came out yesterday. They did a data dump yesterday.
A data dump.
Almost now at this point, 93% of all deaths attributed to coronavirus are unvaccinated people.
Mm-hmm.
All the states that have the highest hospitalizations, lowest vaccination rates, are all states that Donald Trump won.
Here's what's going to happen, Tonto.
All the states with the lowest hospitalization and highest vaccination rate are all states that Joe Biden won.
Well.
Like, I mean, this ideology, and you know the stupid part about that? Donald Trump, A, is vaccinated, B, wants credit for all the vaccinations, yet the sheep that followed Donald Trump to slaughter won't get vaccinated. And so they are dying from coronavirus.
Well,
like, I'm amazed by it.
hey, man.
I'm amazed by it.
Sometimes, natural selection needs to play out.
By the way, Gabe Ledley has a serious question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but did Jake call KD a fuck it getter?
No, a bucket getter. A bucket getter.
You're so fucked.
Love it.
A bucket getter, bro.
He spelled fuck it getter, P-H-U-C-K. Nice job. Jeremy Bolton says big data, bag data dump alert. Okay. Okay, I like it. I just wouldn't be going to the Olympics. I don't know. Maybe this is me. I'm fully vaccinated, and they're saying that if you have the Pfizer vaccine and you have both shots, both ends of it, that you're 95% protected.
Yeah.
From the COVID variant and from this Delta variant.
Delta.
Are you worried about the variant?
I mean, yeah, worried is probably a strong word. Yes, is it coming? Yes, it is.
It's here. It's the
there's
number one
cases.
variant.
There's 300 cases in Utah. Like, it's not exactly here yet. It needs to get to...
Well, there were 682 new cases reported yesterday in Utah.
Okay, so it is here. Cool. Like, I'm gonna live my life. I'm like, it just is what it is. I've been vaccinated because I think that I'm sick and tired of having the COVID conversation. Like, we go from yep, we're vaccinated, everything's good. Like let's live our life to, oh my God. Like, first, if you remember, the Delta variant comes out and they're like, oh my God, the Delta variant, you're not protected, the world's ending.
We're all gonna die.
Now it's, oh, well, if you have the Pfizer vaccine, now you're protected. Like, it's like, dude, okay, I get it. I'm vaccinated. If there's another vaccine that rolls out for the Delta variant, I'll get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to just sit at home and be in a shell. Like, I'm not doing that. So I'm not saying to be an idiot, right? I'm not saying to, like, yeah, going to Tokyo for the Olympics is definitely risky. There's no doubt about that. You're around people that you don't know if they're vaccinated or not. The culture over there is completely different than it is in the United States. I'm not saying it's worse or better.
Heavily populated.
Yeah, like, I just think that, yeah, there's way more people per square foot in that sense. So I just think that, in the States, you can at least distance yourself. And over there, it's way more difficult. It's just much more difficult. So yeah. I hope for those guys' sake that there is structure in place to keep them away from the masses. I would not be walking down the street if I were them, but hey, maybe I don't know better.
From what I understand, they're going to be almost in a bubble setup, and there are going to be no fans going to the Olympics for the first time ever.
Yeah, which
I think is, I just don't understand why the Olympics have to go on. You know what? I get it. There was a huge investment, but you're never going to make that money back. It's over. You delayed the Olympics a year because of coronavirus last summer. It hasn't gotten better in that country. And the thing that is so amazing to me, like I look at all these countries that are not vaccinating their people because either they're not capable of or those people don't want it.
Yeah.
And I just don't know the logic behind that.
Mm-hmm.
The science doesn't support that. And so I look at the United States sending 500 million doses to Indonesia because they're having a massive outbreak. I look at what's going on through the Middle East. I look at what's going on, throughout the Pacific Rim. And I just don't know how you fix this.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I understand there's a dearth of humanity there. There's a lot more people there. India, there is just people on top of people.
Yes.
And that's why you're seeing the spread, especially with the Delta variant. The spread is just so violent because there's just such a population density. Here in the U.S., our biggest issue is that there's a large sect of Americans who won't take the vaccine, whether they're anti-vaxxers or they don't want to give Joe. Like there was an MSNBC thing the other day where people who weren't taking the vaccine straight up said, well, I don't want to give Joe Biden credit. And it's like, wow, really? I mean, you're willing to risk your life to spite Joe Biden. Like, I just don't understand that. So
Yeah.
I'm a guy that believes when you have wealth and privilege, you don't risk that. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't be going to the Olympics.
Yeah, I listen. I agree. It's very risky, but at the same time, these like how many times in your life are you going to be at the top of your game, able to go and play in the Olympics? So, like, I get it from that standpoint, but it's definitely really risky.
Yeah, and Jeremy Bolton makes a good point. He agrees with somebody agrees with you for once. He says, I'm vaccinated and I'm worried about it because variants are mutated in non-vaccinated people, which then in turn can make it not safe for me. But I agree with Jake. I'm not going to turn my life off.
Yeah.
I mean, I like one of the things we do, we play basketball a lot. Mm-hmm. How comfortable are you going to the gym, going over to Vaza this weekend and playing pickup basketball?
I'm pretty fine with it for the most part. I mean, I just, if we're not going to do that, then I guess, we'll just lift. Like, I don't know. The truth of the matter is there's no real way to quantify what the risk is. You're either comfortable going or you're not. Like that's the hard part about the whole thing. There's no way for me to say, well, on this particular Saturday, there's only like a 20% risk, so it's cool to go and play. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
There's no way to forecast it.
Yeah, so it's like, what do? You either say, oh, I'm shutting it down for a while, and I'm not going to go and do that, and I'll just lift or whatever the case may be, or you're going to say, yeah, I am vaccinated, and that's just life right now, So I don't know, man. Like I just think that we've done everything that we can do, and it really just is a choice, I guess. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah, I just think it's fascinating. The way, person to person. I think a lot of this, again, is the CNN, Fox News misinformation campaign. And, is the right word, what is it, politicizing the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why we are where we are. And, it's remarkable to me. Like, I look at this Donald Trump lawsuit with Facebook and Twitter, and, Donald Trump was kicked off of all these social platforms, and so he's suing all of these social platforms now because he's claiming that his First Amendment rights are being violated. And it's laughable, first of all, to say that, okay, again, and I feel like we talk about this weekly on this show. Here's a lawsuit. Oh, you're violating my First Amendment rights. The First Amendment essentially says the government cannot muzzle me. The government cannot prevent me from speaking publicly, from giving an opinion, from talking. That's what the First Amendment says. Donald Trump is suing a non-government entity for suppressing his First Amendment rights. This lawsuit, and I think everybody pretty much agrees, is going to get thrown out of court.
Yeah.
He has no chance to succeed. So why is Donald Trump suing all these social media platforms? Well, it's cheaper than throwing on rallies where nobody shows up because he's had trouble selling tickets to his rallies. It's cheaper than buying a TV or a radio campaign or a billboard campaign or, spending, during the election cycles, they were spending millions of dollars a month at Google, even though they were trying to sue Google. They were spending millions. That's the
just
lunacy.
Classic Trump, dude. Like,
That's the
oh
lunacy.
man, we're gonna use your service, but we're also gonna sue you. Like,
here is they at one point were spending, I think the number's $3.5 million a month on Google ads to make sure that on all of Google's platforms, which by the way include YouTube, who Donald Trump is suing, that you saw anytime you watched a piece of content on a video platform, you saw a Donald Trump for president ad. And now he's turning around and suing them, and they're probably going to use the $3.5 million a month for the 3 years that he was paying them to defend themselves against his lawsuit that's frivolous and gets tossed out of court.
yeah.
But he can't get publicity any other way because Donald Trump has tried to launch this social media platform thing Didn't work. He's tried to get TV time. Nobody will interview him on live TV. And so he's like really struggling to keep his name in the news cycle.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he went back to New York now. He is so thirsty for PR. Donald Trump is going to the Conor McGregor fight Saturday night in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's how hungry this guy is for publicity. And I'm amazed by it, that Donald Trump cannot get publicity in this country because so many media outlets have banned him from being on their air.
Yeah, I mean, he brought that on himself though with everything that's gone down. I mean, again, there's obviously a laundry list of all the things that he said and all the things that, you know, guys like the MyPillow guy have said, and, you know, just all the different figures that were around the Trump campaign. And I just think that this is the price you pay. And I think that, you know, when you look at Trump's life right now, this is a guy who essentially, in my opinion, is literally like a dog chasing a car. Like, he's going to constantly try to be in the news cycle. And then let's say that you do get into the news cycle. What are you going to run for? What's the point? What are you going to try and go? You're going to try and go again for president? Is that the mission we're on right now? Because if that's the case, you're a couple years too early. Because I can tell you right now, with that whole thing going down in New York and all those charges and everything that he's having to deal with, money is not exactly endless for him right now. Yeah. So I just don't. Well,
that's why he's so desperate to fundraise.
Yeah, and I think that when you do the things he did, and after you're done being president, you know, all this stuff has come out about how, you know, just how crazy it was in the White House and in the government while he was president.
Physical altercations.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the story? There was a physical altercation between Donald Trump and Mike Pence.
Yeah.
It's insanity. Anyway, the point is, that's why we have this coronavirus issue. And I think whether you're going to the NBA Finals, I think everybody should be wearing masks. I do. I think, like, you know, when we lift weights at Vaza, like, you happen to live in a condo complex where you have a beautiful gym. Mm-hmm. Like, you have this great gym. So when we go and work out at your complex, we're the only ones in the gym.
Yeah.
So we don't have to wear a mask. But I usually wear a mask. Jake does not when we're lifting. And people stare at me all the time when I'm wearing a mask. It is interesting to watch the way people look at me at Vaza, because I'm usually the only one that's wearing a mask in that gym. Mm-hmm. And people stare at me. And you know what? I frankly don't care. I think, and I don't even know how to say this. I am not being at all prejudiced or racist. Why do you think when you go to Costco or anywhere and you see, you see a person of Asian descent, an Asian person, 9 times out of 10 they have a mask on, because culturally in the Asian communities, they wear masks on a regular basis. In places like Japan, China, Indonesia, they have such poor air quality that they're always wearing a mask. So it's almost part of their regular routine. So now if you go to Costco and you see a person of Asian descent, you're going to probably see them wearing a mask because it's not awkward for them. But we as Americans are very vain. We have a vanity issue. And we believe that, you know, wearing a mask, you know, is against your civil rights, which is amazing to me. Mm-hmm. I wear a mask a lot when I go in public. And in Utah, I'm telling you, it's awkward. People do not, you know.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
People don't like that I wear a mask. It's awkward. It is really awkward. Casey Finland says, I read an article that started a study from France that stated the natural antibodies from COVID aren't enough to keep you from getting the new variant. Only vaccines help. Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. Jordan Crabtree said the safest thing would be to get a national mask mandate for unvaccinated people. Man, that's tough.
But here's the thing. I mean, I don't even disagree with that take. But the problem is that, you know, we don't have a way to verify vaccinated versus unvaccinated. You know, you have no idea, like, who's who, you know, so to me, it's just like, all right, well, like, my mindset is just, okay, I've gotten vaccinated, you know, I feel fine. I actually have had COVID, like, you know, and I've been through it, man. So I don't know. I guess I just don't feel like, I don't feel like we're at a point risk-wise where we have to go into like full nuclear lockdown right now. Like, I don't think we're there yet.
Well, and the hard part is I feel like if you only had unvaccinated people wearing masks, yes, I think that would be very effective. But it's a scarlet letter.
Yeah.
I think there's some danger there.
And I will say this again. I think that the unvaccinated folks, we always hear about them, but I think unvaccinated people pale in comparison to how many people are vaccinated. Like, I think there are way more vaccinated people than not vaccinated right now.
Yep. Gabe Levely says probably only 10% of mask usage at Disneyland yesterday. Man. And do you remember when Disneyland opened a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and all those people were there? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Edgar Garcia says, "What's up, boys?"
What's up, man?
James Knight says, "Morning, guys. Sorry I'm late. Don't ever let it happen
James.
again." Stanek Daniel. Uh-oh, Stanek's back.
Stanek's back.
You're out of timeout. He says, "Hi, guys. Is this about Trump or basketball?" Well, it's all kind of combined.
I don't know. I mean, if you go back to the beginning of the show, we already covered the the NBA Finals. We already covered the Olympics. Like, you know. So
Omar says, "Good morning, Monty and Skippy. How about them Suns?" Another Skippy bomb.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning in, Suns are up 2-0 on the Milwaukee Bucks, and I just don't see how the Bucks can win the series. We, to surmise, said that the Suns, I believe, will win in 5. I think they'll go to Milwaukee and lose one game. They'll come back to Phoenix and make venison out of the Bucks, and they'll hoist a championship at the Suns Arena. I just said that. They're going to hoist a championship at the Suns Arena.
Venison.
Yeah, that's a deer joke.
Yeah, I know.
See, venison is the meat of a deer.
Right.
The Bucks are like their slogan is "Fear the Deer."
Right.
This is a tasty burger.
I just said that the Suns are going to lift a championship, the Larry O'Brien Trophy, a championship at the Phoenix Suns Arena.
Yeah.
A year ago, you would have called me stupid.
Yeah.
Well, you called me stupid.
Yeah, I was
anyway.
going to say.
You know. Stanek says, I am in Russia. Suns in 4. Hope you're vaccinated. Edgar Garcia says, if you guys don't like their takes, you can unsubscribe. Simple as that. It ain't rocket science.
I love my boys in the comments, man.
AK now says Skipper. So do you prefer Skippy or the Skipper?
Let's go with Skippy, just because I feel like the Skipper, paints it me as old.
Skippy is that like a tip of the cap to
I don't
Eric
know.
Cohen?
I don't know.
Like our good good friend is probably Strong. Anyway, we'll call you Skippy.